Hello.
Miranda? Miranda?
Why does he sound like a Big Mouth character?
He does, and I love it.
Or like, not even a Big Mouth character. He sounds like, we're talking about Steve from Sex and the City, you guys. He sounds like the shrimp that lost his entire family on Shark Tale.
Please. That's so specific.
If you know, you know.
That's so specific. How are you guys?
Yeah.
How the heck are you doing? What's going on?
We want to know because we've just been, here. And
It's nothing to watch, guys. I'm not going to lie. Like, I know you're probably here like, what are these bitches going to talk about now? And it's like...
Because everything is wrapping up. Even as we speak, we're about to get off and Vanderpump Rules is literally going to wrap up. And I'm going to be like, well, what do I do now? I'm like shaking. I'm literally shaking.
Arm folds.
You know what it is? It's not that there's nothing to watch. It's more like there's little random things to watch and that you can't cover week to week.
Yeah.
Because right now we're gearing up for summer. We're going to have a very heavy hitting summer. It's going to be The Bear. It's going to be Game of Thrones. It's going to be Power. It's going to be freaking The Boys. That's, I cannot wait for The Boys. Like, you guys don't get it. X-Men 97 is over. Vanderpump Villa is over. Vanderpump Rules is over. Summer House Martha's Vineyard is over. A lot of things that are great are ending, and a lot of things that weren't so great are ending. And I won't specify which was which. But we always got something to talk about. We always can yap. That's one thing about us. We'll yap. Aaron has told us he was on his Sex and the City journey, and we have gotten a lot of interest about it, especially because he has been mourning and yelling and screaming and laughing and going through all the emotions in his stories. I said that I was going to have, technically I said I was going to have a special guest speak about Sex and the City on Bravo I'm Black, but we have a few weeks until we have things that we have to cover week to week that are not Bravo. So I think that we can take these next few weeks to talk about Aaron's Sex and the City journey, which a lot of you have been enjoying. And we are going to do timestamps. We gotta get back into doing timestamps. So just in case you don't want to hear about the Sex and the City, or you haven't watched it yet, or maybe you're even watching along and you don't want any spoilers, we can do that for you. So this week, we're going to talk about Sex and the City, the series as a whole. Next week, your homework, if you're rewatching, if you're watching with them, it's going to be the movies 1 and 2. Okay. The week after that, and just like that, because just like that, we'll be done. And we all watch these characters evolve, see ourselves in some of them, or maybe a little bit in all of them, and just discovering it through someone who has not watched it eyes is so amazing, especially like a Black person eyes is so amazing. I understand that this is kind of Bible for white women everywhere, and I respect that because we have girlfriends. So I don't know if they tell you this, but basically in elementary school / middle school, when you turn a certain age, the girls and the gays, all the Black ones, we get put in the room and then we watch Girlfriends on repeat. And that's what you learn.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you grow up. That's
how it works. And then all of a sudden you're carrying a purse.
Exactly.
Or you have a 9-to-5 job and you have bags under your eyes. That's just how it works.
That's what happens. And I think that the same happens to white people, but they watch Sex in the City. So we have to keep these traditions going, and we have to pass these opinions down, and we need to carry that torch. We are carrying the torch of Girlfriends every day. You guys have carried the torch of Sex in the City, and honestly, we can do a version of Wife Swap. If there's any white podcasts out there that have not seen Girlfriends and they need to go on the journey of Girlfriends, y'all go ahead and watch Girlfriends, because Aaron has gone on the journey of Sex in the City.
Yeah.
And I'm just so excited that you are finally done with, because I was excited for you to watch the movies, but I was nervous for you to get into And Just Like That, because it is such a big, like, we pick up literally 25 years, like 25 years later, however long. There is no Samantha. You had a big reaction to Big dying, which I want to talk about that today, actually. And, there are a lot of people, and I think that, not to make everything about race, but I think that Black people actually appreciate the newer one more than white people do, because white people were outraged about And Just Like That. Like, I understand that it's different, and I felt that way about The Game because it wasn't that good. But like, when I say people were like, they're just trying to check boxes. There's no storyline. They're just trying to be inclusive. They're just using all these buzzwords. They don't know what's going on. And I'm like, well, even if they are right, let's just say they are right. Yes, there are some characters on the show that maybe wouldn't have been on the show, but at the same time, they're still going through what Sex and the City characters would. And you know what? You kind of are right, because you kind of are wrong, because Sex and the City was a progressive ass show. Fucking Samantha was a lesbian for a few days. She dated a Black guy for a few days. She was someone who was lying about her age. She was a single woman in the city. So Sex and the City has always had this air of, this is the modern woman. And now they're doing it for the women who are in their mid 50s. Like, they're putting on for older women the way that they put on for women back then. They're still doing the shit. It's just in a different way. And we are in 2024. So, I mean, I understand that some people don't like the fact that Carrie has a podcast. Like, they think that that's too modern. But I mean, what are we really reading? I know Substack is getting big, but not back then in 2020 or 2021, whenever this was filmed. But yeah, so Sex and the City, the series, she ends up with Big. How'd you feel about that?
I was very happy. Mm-hmm. I felt very happy because there was so much that happened throughout the series. So much growth between both of these characters. You've seen Carrie grow. And I think even if her and Big got together back in the day, I don't think she would have been ready for Big. Ooh. At some point, I feel like she would have realized that she wanted to explore her options more. And I think Big's absence allowed her to do that. Like, wow. We got Aiden, we got Berger, we got so many other guys that aren't that memorable. We had the artist guy. He was pretty memorable. But I really only remember those three. And the one that was in the mental institution.
Me.
For that one episode. And at that point, I was like, Carrie. Like...
What would you date someone?
It was just not necessarily
not necessarily in the mental institution. Would you date someone who left the mental institution, like who completed some time in the recently? No. Okay, maybe just me.
No. And it's not a bad thing if you do. Like, if you have the guts to do it, I applaud you. But me personally, I just feel like if things go left, then who knows what's going to happen.
That's fair.
That's something you just got to be very cautious about. And with him, fair. I did applaud that he's like, I'm not ready to leave this. Yeah. I need to stay in here for a little bit more.
For you and me both.
Yeah. So I wasn't too mad at it by the end of that episode, but I was like, okay. But it was clear that they were just doing anything with Carrie.
Okay, I want to know because this is a point of like the point of like making her an icon is also not just to to be like a person that women can see themselves in, but also she is known as a fashion icon. Do
Yes,
you see it for her?
absolutely.
Do you remember
Absolutely.
your favorite Carrie outfit?
I do. It was okay, so it was the newspaper dress.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that one? That's like very iconic. And it was
Yeah.
also, she had on these like knickerbockers. I don't know if they call them that anymore. And she had her hair kind of like crinkled with this pink top. And that was very memorable. It was like a scene of her walking down the street with Miranda, I want to say. I might even have pictures of it, guys.
You dissect the show and you take clips from the show
Yeah.
and you watch edits of the show and like the funniest moments or this specific scene just so you can reference them because you're unafraid to reference or not reference.
Yeah, when it comes to Sex in the City, I believe these are very important things. And then as far as not even just her fashion, but her hair as well. Like we've had short hair Carrie, we had bob Carrie, we had grown out, like roots grown out, like need some touch up Carrie. We have blonde Carrie, we have brown Carrie.
Mm.
So many things. And I want to say that was one of my favorite looks in the Sex in the City 1 movie, which we'll talk about. But when she
Yeah.
dyed her hair brown, I really enjoyed that.
She was having a Dorit moment, I feel.
Hmm. Exactly. Exactly. I'm glad you brought that. That was a full circle moment. But I really like that. I wish she would have kept it in a little bit longer, but
Yeah, it was a movie, so it's
yeah,
fair.
fair.
Um, okay, so how are you satisfied? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, on we'll rate the series first. Scale of 1 to 10 as a series.
20.
Like, okay. And then what was your opinion going into it versus coming out of it?
When I got into it, I will say I didn't really feel a connection to any of the characters other than Miranda. Miranda was the only one that I was like, I can see myself in Miranda. But as it continued, I'm like, okay, I get Carrie. I understand how Carrie works. And she came a long way also from dropping her purse and like exposing her condoms on the side of the road to Big. You
Real.
know, we see her do that, and we see her fall in love. We see her get her heart broken. So it's a lot of character development from Carrie, and just between the first and second season, where you're like, I get her. Even for Samantha at first, I think she comes on pretty strong because you're like, why is this lady talking about sex all the time? But then as it continues, I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
understand her. And Charlotte, for the life of me, I just did not like Charlotte. Well, I'm not going to say I didn't like her. I didn't connect to her. And I'm just like, why is this basic woman just on the screen? Like, who is this friend for? Because I'm like, you have Miranda, you have Kira, you have Samantha, and I feel like they're a great trio. But then you have Charlotte, and you're not really sure what she's about. She's a really nice woman. She seems to have values and morals, but you're like, where does she fit in this group?
I
And
think
then
that's why they put her there because then
yeah,
there's always a person that's like in between. Like you're not a defining, you're ever evolving.
right, exactly. But then she gets into like, you realize her whole thing is she wants to get married. And I think it happened so sudden too. Like one season, you realize she's there and she's like, I want to get married. And you're like, I like her.
Me on January 1st.
I think it was specifically that episode where she goes on the water taxi and she's
Mm,
drunk and she's like, I really want to get married. And then from that point on,
you just
she was
understand.
obsessed with getting married. And I'm like, I get it.
Okay, so 1 to 10, Carrie's story arc.
10.
Like, is there anything that you wish they would have did differently when it comes to Carrie?
I would say,
at least your least favorite storyline? If you think that they played her perfectly,
Mm.
character wise, personality wise, choices wise, what would you have liked to see with
Um,
Carrie?
I thought she had a good mix. Like even the things that I didn't necessarily like, I liked it for her because I'm like
Mm-hmm.
it helped created who she is. The one thing I would probably say is maybe not so much. I don't think she should have stayed with Burger that long. Like one episode in, I was like, okay, enough. Because it was clear that he was so jealous of her success. So I'm like, why does she keep sticking around? Like, I just don't understand it. Why does she keep waiting for this guy?
Yeah, dimming her light, honestly.
Yeah, I can understand that with Big because I'm like, even Big at first, you're like, why is she so obsessed with this guy? But then he
Mm-hmm.
continues to grow on you, and you realize like this man is suave as hell.
Especially when you're like trying to get over a big, it's like
Hmm.
I'm gonna take like anything right now and try to be like, well, I love him. I can't have big, so I love him.
Yeah, I mean, and I thought Aiden was second best.
Aiden is for me.
Yeah.
I wanted her to. I wanted her to choose Aiden so badly until I realized that she was a terrible person. So then, when I realized that she was a terrible person, I was like, okay, then you and Big should be together
I agree. I agree
because
because
you
they
guys
deserved each other.
exactly.
Even when they were having that affair, I was like, oh my God, this is so bad. Like, and why is it lasting so long? Why is she so comfortable smoking cigarettes in bed with this man in this random hotel for like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days? And she acts like she doesn't have a home at this point. Like, this man isn't redoing your floors in your apartment.
Well, I mean, speaking of affairs, what do you think about when Big got married and all of
Oh,
that
and
went down?
the whole
Natalie,
Natasha story and all.
Natasha, yeah. Because there was multiple affairs, baby.
It was, I mean,
What was worse, the actual marriage being fucked around on, or a relationship with a dude
yeah,
that's
they were
redoing your
both
floors?
equally bad because it was clear that he didn't really have love for Natasha. That was like a quick marriage, I feel. Like something just to fill in the void.
That was insane that he married her though. Like,
Hmm. I was like, wow. I didn't think it was gonna happen. And I think had Carrie like really stepped in and stood her ground, he would not have married Natasha.
like
But
he wouldn't have
because,
married Natasha, but he wouldn't have married Carrie either.
oh well, no. I think it was one of those things also where he was okay with not getting married.
Right. I mean, he
And
never
maybe if she
wanted
got
to.
on board with that, they could have been together. But Carrie wanted to get married. And did Carrie genuinely want to get married, or did she want to get married because she knew that was the popular thing to do?
It's the idea of marriage. The only one who genuinely like wanted to get married
Oh,
was
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Like she was born to be married.
She
And
was
it's
born to be
like,
married.
go ahead, girl.
I also love that scene where he runs into Carrie, like I think it was either after or before the wedding, maybe after.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, why did you choose her over me? And he's like, she's easy. She's simple. Like she pretty much lets me fuck off and do whatever I want. You don't.
Like I can be with her and I can still be with you.
Yeah. And I just knew it wasn't over for them. I will say that I applaud her. Well, that's during the movie. It's a thin line between the show and the movie.
Yeah, because she got her
Uh
look back. She got her look back.
she got she definitely got her lick back. What did you think about that whole Aiden thing where okay, this is what I want to ask you. Do you think that Carrie should have came clean about fucking around with Mr. Big to Aiden?
Ooh, yeah. because Aiden is genuinely a good guy, and it's like you know you don't want this man, and you're gonna let this man go eventually, so you're gonna fuck him up for the next woman. Like, and
Yeah.
then she also knew that it doesn't matter what she. Okay, she is to Aiden as Mr. Big is to her. Aiden will always come back around for her. It doesn't matter what happens. Doesn't matter who he goes off and marries. Doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter what she does. He'll give Carrie a chance. So when I know that I can do, not me personally, but like when she knows that you can treat someone away and they don't care, they'll just take you as you are because they love you. You kind of take advantage of that. So
That's why you
what
gotta
is the
stop.
harm? What's the harm in just being honest and being like, listen, it is what it is. And you have to do that for your own conscience, not even them. But if you want to think about other people, you should tell them just so they know. Do you think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't believe you, but okay.
Why don't you believe me? I do think that it was right for her to tell him, just because I think that it would have came out in some other way. They're always literally on each other's answering machine.
Exactly. They don't give
That's
a
the
fuck.
crazy part about it too. I'm like, y'all really don't give a fuck because
They
y'all are
don't.
leaving whole ass voicemails like, "Hey, Carrie, it's Big. I seen you the other day and you left your purse in my house," and like, it's insane.
Bedroom 306 at the fucking
Yeah,
Tipton Hotel.
the Lord,
It's just insane. Like,
please.
okay, so we love Carrie, of course, so we'll get more into that next week. We have to move on to the other three because there's just so much depth
There's
in Carrie.
so much to say about Carrie Bradshaw.
I might even have a spinoff, just the Carrie Bradshaw
The Carrie
episode.
Bradshaw episode, because there's so
Yeah,
much to say.
yeah. Okay, now we have to go to our second fave. Well, that's my first fave, your second fave, Samantha. Her character arc, 1 to 10, and what did you wish that you would have seen from Samantha when it comes to the series, like the Sex and the City series?
I will give Samantha a 9.
Mm-hmm.
A 9, because I feel like she was everything I wanted her to be, except for like, okay, so for instance, we've seen a lot of character development with Carrie. We've seen it with all these other characters. And I feel like we didn't really get that with Samantha until she had the cancer um, portion of the season. When she
Mm-hmm.
went through cancer, and the young actor slash was a Broadway star.
Mm-hmm.
We seen her relationship with him, and I think she kind of like we seen more of a emotional side of Samantha. Like, she has feelings.
She's
She
human.
actually does care. She's human.
She isn't
But
just a fucking machine.
yeah, even when she shaves her hair, I'm like, these are some powerful ass episodes. They
Right.
had me crying too,
Exactly.
because that's my girl. But it's just like, and I know that's going into the movie, but it's just, I think she becomes the same person again. And that's what I did not like.
But why can't that just be who she is? Like you have to try
It
to
could be.
change in order to realize like, hey, maybe I'm not this person who eventually wants the same thing as everyone else. I'm still this independent woman who don't want like, the
Yeah.
traditional values and everything.
I think that's true. Maybe it's because as a viewer, you want certain things for certain characters when you like them. That's just how it is. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you accept them. I accept her for who she is, but I think ultimately I wanted her to be with Richard.
You are such a sucker. Like you're such a hopeless romantic.
Mm-hmm.
You're such a forgive. He's a good man, Savannah.
He's a good man.
You are such a in-game person. And me, I'm just like, move on or be by yourself.
See, no, that's the thing. Because it's like, the thing is, she got her look back too. She got her leg back before that. You remember that scene where she's contemplating whether or not she should be monogamous to Richard. And then she goes in the bathroom and she hooks up with that random ass guy and Richard catches on like right after the fact and she's like shit. I think that they were the same person in that sense. He was also struggling with being monogamous. So it's like, had they worked on that together and I think like actually went to therapy, I didn't doubt for a second that he didn't like that he cared for her. I genuinely think that he cared for her and cared about her best interest, but I think he just had the same struggles as her, which is why I felt like they could have worked something out and been together.
You think that he matched her freak?
Yeah. It's like the sets was great. The only thing is he just fucked around a little bit and it was hard.
Sometimes you can't get over that.
Yeah.
Like even if you are in love, you can't get over like what that person did to you. Or you know that you can get over it, but you know in your head that it's coming again. Or you know that you're also that same kind of person. So you're looking at a mirror.
And maybe that's what bothered her so much about it.
And I understand what you're saying.
And then on top of that, like they kept his character around.
Yeah.
For a little bit. So I'm just like, just get back. Just give the man another chance.
I think the young dude like was just she needs a young dude. And especially but do you think that she stayed? That's what I wanted to ask. Do you think that she stayed with him out of like he was like holding her down?
Of course. He was successful. He was a muse, something for her to work on. He was like her project. She helped him get the career. Once he got the career, he was still dependent on her. And then it got to a point where not only was he dependent on her, but he became stability for her during the cancer episodes. So it's like we kind of see him be this solid rock, and I think the only thing that's ever been consistent in her life. So I think she got adjusted to that. But after a while, as we can see, that stops being enough.
It does.
So it's like that's the
does.
thing, and that's why I think like it's clear he wasn't the guy for her because he really wanted her. He didn't want to fuck around on the side. He actually wanted her. But Samantha needs somebody that's gonna
he
like
was her Aiden.
Make her his main, but also do his own thing on the side so she could do her own thing on the side. That's the only way it would make sense because I don't see a man just being like, unless you're Steve.
Which just you're gonna get like, to?
Yeah, do what you want to do.
So, okay, non-character story arc for Samantha. And that is an interesting take because I never have been able to sit down and really dissect who Samantha should have ended up with or did she get the perfect ending. So let's get into Miranda and see. When you first saw Steve, you were not feeling Steve. At like all. Miranda had a career. She was a career girly. She was making more than any guy that she dated. She was not interested in these dudes like that. Like she wanted to date, but it wasn't like Carrie who wanted to be a relationship girl or Charlotte who wanted to be in a marriage, but then she didn't want to be completely detached like Samantha. She had a series of boyfriends. She even dated Blair Underwood.
That's who. Thank you for that.
Like that was fucking iconic. She dated Blair fucking Underwood. Not many people can say that. But then she ended up being with Steve. How do you feel about that?
Okay, I get Steve is in game. I respect Steve is in game, honestly. And we're not talking about it just like that, but we're talking about
we're talking about the series. Yeah, I understand.
So it's like, I accepted that. But Blair Underwood
like let's compare.
You just don't fuck around on Blair Underwood. Like you just don't. I honestly think she could have rode that out a little bit longer.
I honestly just thought that she was a lesbian like from the get-go.
Really? Because the first season they explored that whole thing, and it's like they kind of stood on business with that shit with her not being a lesbian. She's
She
like,
was
no,
like butt ass nigga.
I don't
Yeah.
fucking feel anything. I'm fucking with men. And it's just
Yeah. And I
like,
think that made me say she's definitely a lesbian. But I
yeah,
think it's because I watched it when I was older when I could clock it. And,
wow.
like,
That's deep. Maybe I have to rewatch.
listen, we can rewatch together. So let me know if once you finish and just like that, you want to go
I couldn't
around
help but
again.
wonder, were there untold stories? Were there chapters to revisit? Um,
Yeah. So, okay, character arc 1 through 10.
oh, for Miranda, 8.
Okay. Still high because I'm like, if
Yeah.
you're going to lowball Miranda, I'm like, please don't.
I would never lowball
Because, like,
Miranda.
she went through so much, like, her mom died
Hmm.
and the girls, like, getting together. And, like,
It's
Steve.
just too
And, like,
much.
it's just,
Going a
she
lot.
was working.
She was working, literally. Um, so I like that she got with Steve. I like that she had the baby. I like
Uh-huh.
that
I like that she
she,
was still like a career woman even after having the baby.
yes,
She was like,
I love that they held
this is
on to
not my
that.
personality. Like, I
Hmm.
love my child, but guess what? I'm going the fuck back to work.
You know what? I have to be fair too because I'm trying not to look at everything as a whole, and it's hard not to. Okay, so on the
Mm-hmm.
show, yeah, I will say it because there was always something about Miranda that wasn't clicking like all the way. Even when she got back with Steve, and it's like you're happy to see that. You're happy that she was able to move to Brooklyn. Like, even though I didn't want her in Brooklyn, really, I was just like, okay, I'm happy to see that. She's starting her own life. She's starting her own family. I love the compassion that she had for Steve's mom with the dementia.
That was a lot.
I think that for me, seeing that with Miranda, I'm like, I really fuck with Miranda. For
Mm-hmm.
you to get on your coat and just go and find this lady eating pizza out of a trash can
Same.
and wash her in the tub and like really be a
A
rock
down
for
ass
Steve.
bitch.
Yeah, she was Steve's rock, period. That's why you always have to put some respect on Miranda's name. And even with like the whole Blair Underwood storyline, she left Blair Underwood for Steve. And that's powerful. That's really saying something.
That says a lot, actually.
She washed drawers. She left Blair
Steve,
Underwood.
Steve has a big old dick. He does. I had to say it because like people are probably wondering like what's up with this guy.
Miranda? Um, yeah.
Miranda, I'm gonna open a hot dog
Miranda.
stand.
Miranda.
Come out to Coney Island.
I loved them together because I felt like he understood her. And even though he wasn't as successful as her, he gave her something that she always wanted, which was like that family dynamic. But I don't think she ever realized that she wanted it.
Yes.
I think Miranda was the in between character of like Carrie and Samantha.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It
like
just came to her.
yeah, she liked fucking around too, but she also liked the idea of consistency,
And that's fair.
you know?
And that's why I'm like, I can see myself a lot in Miranda. Like,
Exactly, because
ideally, we're
she's
all a Carrie. We're all fucking running around, writing and smoking cigarette. Like, we're all smoking cigarettes, literally typing in our computer, wondering
I've
if they
been
can
doing it
see
for
us
the
in the
past 80
email.
years.
Like, we've been doing that since birth. But, like, when it comes down to it, who are you really?
Miranda. It's like a perfect medium, I think. Well, no, right now I'm going through my Carrie Bradshaw era.
Oh,
I'm
that's
widowed.
right. Wait. I
Um,
did not expect that.
but
What?
It's dead to me.
They're
But
so.
oof. Yeah, so it's like right
I
now I'm
love
definitely relating to Carrie a lot. And I'll
it.
probably be
Okay.
back.
Okay. We can. Well, I'll check in with you in a few months
Hmm.
or a few weeks. Actually, it's too long. Because that's a lot to unpack. Okay, so now last Charlotte story arc. I would say you have to rate the story arc high because she did get that marriage. She got the ring.
Charlotte,
She had a slut era too.
9. 9. And you know why? Because like Miranda, and I think her and Charlotte have that thing in common too. There's something about her storyline that's not clicking fully. And I don't know what it is. I'm on it just like that. And I am
Yeah, but don't worry,
still
it'll come to you, and then we'll be talking about it, and it'll come, and you'll be like, you know what was missing, and I'll be like, what, and you'll tell me. But
okay. Because
right
it's coming.
now,
Okay. Because
yeah,
I've already felt like that just from Sets in the City, like the last season. Her end game was with what's his name?
child, I just call him her husband.
Her husband,
Her
her
husband.
Jewish husband.
Yes,
Um,
she changed religions for that man.
she did. And I did like the way he treated her. I like that he gave her the family that she always wanted. Um,
Yeah,
but
and
one
like
thing about
remember the other
Charlotte,
guy,
he always
the
has
tennis
stability.
guy.
Yeah,
She always got the rich nigga. Yeah, fella.
exactly. It's like, so that's why with Charlotte, it's like, girl, I really don't care because your life is easy.
But I also, yeah, her life is easy. Like I don't know. I think that Charlotte is the perfect character that's in between because it's like you work in a fucking art museum.
She
You
has
know
a
what?
life.
Like that is, you know what? That's the only you want to get married so bad because everything else is perfect. Like you have a
Yeah.
fine you have a fine situation, like with your family. You have a stable place to live. Like you have a career that you're passionate about. You have fashions.
Harry.
Yeah, I hate
That's his name.
Harry. I hated him. I hate it. Wait, no, not her husband. Ooh, hold on.
Yeah, I was
What's
like,
the dude? What's the dude that had the mom and she was just like a fucking cunt?
Hamlin. No, it's not Hamlin.
Not Harry Hamlin.
Charlotte's love
SAT
interest.
boyfriends. Fucking Trey. I love Harry.
Trey.
Sorry, Harry. I thought you were saying Trey. I'm like, I hated
You
Trey
hated Trey?
so bad. He just
I liked his
was so
mom.
annoying. Hated the mom, hated him, hated everything
Because she's
about them.
like, like, that
She's
was
like
her
one of
fucking
those
storyline. Like smoking a cigarette and picking out
so
fabrics.
judgmental, like too involved.
She was living the
Like,
life too.
of course, that's I understood her because it's like you're not gonna come and marry my son,
Yeah. She's
you
like,
whore.
actually, I have another idea.
How about you
I'll come to
go
my
and
house.
fuck off? I'll pay you.
But I found there, okay, so that's the interesting thing about Charlotte. There were just so many random things. Although I did not like Trey, that storyline took us all over the place. Like
Right.
with her messing around with the gardener and them finding out in the same episode. I'm like, this is too much
For Charlotte, by the way, the
for
one who,
Charlotte.
and that's what I wanted to bring up. Samantha went from, well, no, Miranda went from not really caring about, having a family and being married to getting that. Okay. But we did see some time in between that Charlotte strayed from her. I want to get married. I want to get married and I want to stay in happy marriage and just do everything that I can to, do that. So, like, actually fucking around with the gardener. Like
Yeah,
she went in reverse. So that's why she also has a lot of depth. Even if she isn't our favorite character,
because the
it's
sex wasn't good.
still like, damn. Yep.
That's what she realized. She realized the sex wasn't good, and then she caught the man looking at the porn. So she was like, "Oh, your shit has been working this whole time. You're
Yep.
just a little fucking porn addict." And this show, it very. Y'all remember when Joan Clayton dated Sean, the sex addict, on
Yep.
Girlfriends?
My
I would just have
girl.
loved a scene of her and Joan having a conversation because I feel like they needed each other in that moment. Um,
Oh my God. The crossovers.
yeah,
The crossovers that
because there were so many things on Sets in the City that I'm like, they would have had the answers to these questions
yep.
had they did a
And they
crossover.
were in the same age group.
Hmm.
That's the crazy part about it.
Going through like literally the same shit.
The same shit, just that's what I want to bring it around to. We are all just having experiences and we're all the same at the end of the day.
At the
Black
end
or
of the day,
white, rich or
that's
poor,
what it taught me because
gay
it's
or
like
straight,
I
man or
enjoy
woman.
Girlfriends so much, but I also enjoy Sets in the City so much. And
Right.
both have taught me certain things that I will never let go of.
Different things. You are now a well balanced like adult, you know?
I did, that's how I feel. It's like
Like you
on one
just
hand,
feel like I know how to handle this.
I know how to handle it. I think with Girlfriends, they taught me how to have a glass of wine in
Uh-huh.
Alizé. But
Uh-huh.
with Sets in the City, they taught me how to have a fucking cigarette.
Ooh. Wow. Wow.
There you
See?
go.
And
And I
both
don't even
are
smoke
equal.
cigarettes, but it's
Exactly.
just a point. Before you go, I was go, ooh. It's
No,
just very
exactly.
important to do that. Like,
You have to just be well balanced. Like that's
you
it.
just do.
Like you can't pick and
What
choose.
is, I want to end this off by saying, what is one
Mm-hmm.
of the biggest lessons that you learned from Sets in the City?
But it's okay that you can be a certain age, whether it's your 30s or even your 40s, and not have it figured out and still be messy.
Oh my God.
And it's okay sometimes. It's gonna sound. How do I put it without? I want to be very careful right now when I put it into the world. It's not okay to cheat, but it's okay
What?
to weigh your options.
Where did this
And I learned so much from it. It's okay to weigh your
No.
options. And it's also okay that every woman isn't the same and that you shouldn't be judgmental because we all got our own shit going on. But mainly, it's okay to cheat sometimes. But it's not like really, it's not okay. Okay. In order to get to who you should be with, you have to go through a lot.
You have to cheat.
I didn't say that necessarily because I have said that too many times and I don't want to put that out there. I'm just saying that life is not a three-way
But
street.
it's true.
And
Sometimes it's
it's
like,
also you are putting these goals and these wants and these needs on yourself and no one else is putting that on you. That's literally you. It's all in your fucking head. This is your world and you make it your world. You are on the side of a bus, okay? Like you run this fucking city.
and the bus splashes you sometimes. I think that's what you're
Exactly.
saying. Love can be messy.
Thank
That's
you.
what it is.
Can
Love
we
can
edit
be
everything that
messy.
I just said out and just say that I learned that love can be messy?
Love can be messy. Some people cheat. Some people have to take a break and then come back together, like Miranda and Steve. Some people, they just naturally see it, like Charlotte and Harry. It's like everybody's
Okay.
different. And sometimes you got to go through a few clowns before you get your Mr. Big. Sometimes the guy that you think is your Mr. Big isn't your Mr. Big.
Thank you. I would also say that too because I don't like Mr. Big. Like, I don't like that man. I hate that man so bad.
You
I hate
still?
him. Like, if I was Tommy, I would spit on
What
him. Like,
did
I hate
Mr.
Mr. Big.
Big do to
Just the
you?
way that he did Carrie, just the way that he is as a man. It's also the way that he did Natasha.
All he
The way
did
that
was
the way that he died. Please, guys, watch this on YouTube. He looks exactly. You look like a tanned version of Mr. Big. Exactly like that. And I would hate it because she would fall for it every
and I
time.
would too. And you know what's
And
so
then
funny?
she'd be like, "What?" She'll finally like. I did not know this man's name for the longest time, and then she'd be like, "John," and I'm just
I
like,
learned it, John. But let me tell you something. I got it. That's when I would get it. I did not get it until like I think it was the third. It was her birthday. And she was alone. Like her friends had been like abandoned her and they like things weren't working out. And Mr. Big pulled up on the side of the curb with balloons like flying out of the car. And I'm like, this
"He's a
man
clown."
is fucking perfect. Like, wow, what a man.
Did it because he's a clown, but that's fair.
Oh,
That's fair because a lot of people like he's a polarizing character. So
resurrect Mr. Big. Like, I'm begging.
this is not that kind of show. This isn't
Resurrect
that kind of
Mr.
show.
Big and make this a dream. Like literally bring back Samantha and Mr. Big and be like, wake
When
Carrie
I
up.
woke and just like that, I
I
woke
woke
up.
up. They did it on fucking Roseanne. Oh well, Roseanne. Fuck Roseanne, but
He can't come back though, the
no,
actor.
I know.
Yeah.
They can
Yeah.
recast him. I can like fucking do
You
it
can
for him.
play Mr. Big. What do
I vote
you
for like
think?
fucking
Uh-huh.
Dave Cavalier or somebody.
Oh, Dave Cooley. Okay. Because he is, and he was some people's Mr. Big, which is insane. Alanis Morissette's Mr. Big.
Yeah, just make him taller.
Like, someone was like, what song was that? Someone said Love by Keisha Cole was about Dave Coulier.
I'm not sure how that
Because it was like a running joke because no one expected You Ought to Know to be about a guy from fucking Full House, right? So then other people like
is that true?
no, they would literally just find random like love songs by random people that you'd never think that he would hook up with and say that it was about Dave. And it was so funny because I literally Googled it and they were like, no, this is a joke. So I was just like, I hate you. But yeah, so Big is gone for good. And he was supposed to have a cameo, but he was supposed to come back as like a dream.
I listen. I know
you know everything that happened
about this. Okay. I know everything about what's going on. As soon as Mr. Big died, I was literally like, why did Mr. Big leave Sex in the City? I'm like, hey Siri. Let me not do it. She's like,
girl, shut your ass up.
Don't start. Because she was ready too.
Oh, absolutely. Because she loves Mr. Big. Maybe this should just be the Sex in the City episode because this is a forever episode, and we'll get to Abbott Elementary next week. We can get to everything else next week. We didn't even give okay, so this week's Black Excellence Award goes to Mr. Big.
I'm glad you know.
The character, not the actor. And that is it. Like, this is the ultimate Sex in the City episode. And
I love that man
that you
so with all my heart. And
his speech.
I just hope that in life
while it's raw,
Mr. Biggs.
What? Thank you, because I need mine. While it's raw, because you just watched the episode a few days ago. I want you to walk me through. We're not going to get into the show, but walk me through the Peloton episode, which is literally the first fucking episode.
My heart sank deep down in my chest. I screeched. I was worse than Carrie. Like, honestly, Carrie was bad, but I
Carrie
was
killed him. No, Carrie didn't even
worse.
call 911. Like, bitch, what are you
Carrie
doing?
pissed me off so bad. Let me tell you, Mr. Big died because of Charlotte. And that's the reason why I can't
Well,
give
her
her all
daughter.
her points. Yeah.
A lot
I
of
can't
people are
because
saying that, remember, like, and that's what, did you read the theory about Charlotte's daughter, like, fucking up everything? Because in the Sex and the City movie, she's the one who, like, he was on the phone. She fucked up the phone situation.
mm-hmm.
And then now she was at the assembly. She
Kill her
fucked
off the
up
show.
the. Kill
She has to
Charlotte's
go.
child.
Because it's like this is too much. I hated it. I hated it. And I
But
was
walk
just
me
like,
through, like, you finding out about it. Like,
well, I
not
wasn't
finding out, but
ex-
like, were you expecting it,
I
or
wasn't
did you
expecting
realize
it.
something that was going to happen? Tell me.
I wasn't expecting it until they did the recital. Until she started playing that piano hard as fuck. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, why do they keep flashing back to Mr. Big in this damn Peloton? Like, and that's when, and just like that, it all clicked that Mr. Big was gonna die because he was extra suave in this episode too, guys.
He
Like,
put on the Riz, like he
he
put
put
on the
on the
classic.
Ritz. The whole episode, he's like,
I can't breathe.
forehead
I can't
high
do
as
this.
fuck, eyebrows high as fuck to the sky. Like, literally, that's that Riz. Like,
He was
I
Mr.
was
Huge.
Mr. Huge. I'm like, damn, what a man. Carrie Bradshaw. How can you even fit in the house with his
What?
dick everywhere? Like, how can you even fit in this fucking apartment right now? My
You see,
gosh.
but did you see their apartment together?
That's not that closet. Did you see that closet?
That closet. Ugh,
My God.
what a life.
What a life.
Like, but you worked at both. And then you gave Jennifer Hudson that ugly. Okay, we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, she pissed me
But
off with
okay,
that too.
so the music started playing. They flashed back and forth to Mr.
Yeah.
Big.
And then his
That's one of the
chest.
most popular Peloton instructors, by the way, and that was a huge thing at the time because Peloton, Peloton was popping when Peloton was popping. Like this was right in the midst of it. Peloton actually did not know that they were going to use the bike to kill off Mr. Big because then everyone started blaming Peloton
Right.
bikes for
And
it.
I did. I'm like, look into that and get them off the market now. My whole thing was I just felt like he could have been saved.
She didn't call
So
911
many
at
people were
all.
irresponsible. He was irresponsible because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
fuck Carrie Bradshaw. Call the ambulance. Call 911. Even though 911 asks you a million questions, but that's a whole nother thing. You could be like
Yes,
dying, and they're like, so what color are you?
literally.
How tall are you? When's the
It's the
last time you had a
craziest thing.
Trisket? It's just like
Exactly.
it's so many questions where I'm like, I don't know.
Is somebody going to match my freak? It's like, bitch, I am dying.
Dying. Send an ambulance now.
Call the
Shit.
ambulance.
I just it really hurt me because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
Carrie is happy. Like, I know y'all not about to do this to Carrie. Do this to Charlotte. Like, do this to anybody. Do not do this to Carrie.
Well, if they would have killed Harry, I wouldn't have
They
been
could have
able to
found
handle
another
it.
Harry. They could have found another Harry, but they're not gonna find another Mr. Big. Nobody raises their eyebrows like that. It's not gonna be a guy that's that suave. It's not gonna be a guy that pulls up to the side of an apartment with balloons and is gonna understand and is gonna listen to the classics and play his records and look at black and white TV. Like that was my man.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
took from me.
I understand. You're valid in your feelings.
And this is why, and for the people that are like, oh, and just like that, it's not important. Nothing really happens. It's very important because it shows you can have everything and you can lose it just like that.
Ooh.
And that's what this show means to me. And I hope that you look at this and you
Mhm.
understand the value of that first season and you understand the struggle of Carrie Bradshaw. It's like she fought for that for so long and she enjoyed it and she got to spend time with him and she got to find the love of her life just for him to be taken away from her. It's like this is serious. Like this is real
I would say
life.
that I was literally about you, like you were speaking so much truth. I was about to say you can't write this shit, but it literally is written. But
It's
so shout out to
written.
the writers.
And shout out to
Um,
Carrie in her new book.
yes,
Listen,
yes,
guys, this isn't just any show.
right.
This isn't just any guy. So for you guys out there who are like, oh, well, just kill him, like, oh, it's no big deal. Let's see you get the love of your life and then they just die all of a sudden. And let's get you on. It doesn't feel too good, does it?
Damn,
That shit
touche.
hurted. I'm not gonna lie. And then just the transition into that funeral episode. Wow.
That was like real. Like it was just too much for me. I'm like,
Too
how are we even going to
much.
have a rest of the season when this is happening?
And Carrie pushed through and gave you guys a whole season. And it's like we're complaining about her being a podcaster. Girl, get off my lawn. In the words of Black China, get off my lawn.
Period. What a
It
show.
hurts.
What an entity. What a it's based on a
It's
so what a book,
powerful.
what a magazine column, what a life, like what a person, what an actress, what a writer, like what a team, what a production company. And this is why I'll always be, it don't matter what they do, I will always give HBO their tens, no matter what they do.
No matter what.
I will give
Because
them their tens.
this was good with me. Even though y'all cancel rap shit, and I have a lot to say. But even though,
Mm-hmm.
you know what, y'all cancel rap shit, but that girl Chameleon, that's another story for another day. But she pissed me off so bad the other week. And yeah, guys, I think it's a great show. If you haven't seen Sex in the City, you need to see it. It's a requirement.
I don't know how you could listen to this episode and not pique your interest because I
It
just
has
felt
to.
so disconnected with it when I first watched it when I was younger and I didn't go through shit. I was like these fucking old white women, like
I
I don't
even
have
told my
anything
mom,
to
I'm like,
do.
what are you doing?
Right,
Why
right.
aren't you watching this show? And she's like, I don't know. It's not. And I'm like, it is your thing. You
It's
just don't
everyone's
know it
thing.
yet.
It's everyone. I believe that even like I don't care if you don't even watch TV. I feel like
Imagine
Sex in the City.
also being somebody in your like late 30s, early 40s, watching a show like this and feeling like my life is like over. This is
Mm-hmm,
the perfect show to show you that it's not. Like you
mm-hmm.
could easily get up and be a Carrie Bradshaw or be a Samantha or be
Because
a Miranda.
your life isn't over until you have no pulse. Baby,
Right.
you are still breathing. You are still alive. And that's why I appreciate housewives
Mm-hmm.
because it's like you can be whatever age you are. You could be with a family, without a family, have kids, no kids, in a relationship, no relationship. You are a motherfucking woman and you are living. And it don't matter what age you are, it doesn't matter what race you are. Like you are who the fuck you are,
And
and you are
just like
still
that,
living.
you are whole.
Mm. Mm-mm. Oh, speaking of housewives, you know that Dorinda is like they base one of the well, okay. It's obviously like a newspaper column that it's based from, or like a book or whatever, by
Mm-hmm.
Candace Bushnell. But Dorinda is I think her name was Susan. Dorinda is actually like the real life inspiration for a character in the show.
Oh
So you should
wow.
look that up. Mm-hmm.
I wonder who it is. Is it the one that
Susan.
married Susan?
You know, Susan. And we'll
Oh my God, I think I know who this is. I just
Yep.
thought about it.
Yep. The character's husband is Richard.
Yes. This is exactly who I think it is.
Do you see Dorinda in her?
Yes, absolutely.
You know, honestly, who else I am? Like, if like a cameo character, because there were a bunch of cameos in it, and including Carrie Bradshaw's black scent. I also am that lady who's like, whatever happened to fun?
Can you
And she
get
just-
out of here? You talking to me? You want to see me twirl? And I'm glad everybody in the comments was like, that's not a black scent. That's like Jennifer Lopez. It's like
That
around
is
the way
like
New
a
York
Bronx.
girl. Like, yeah, you know, like a Bronx, like a
Crazy
bacon, egg,
girl
and
in the
cheese, a
fucking
crazy egg
90s.
with the orange
like,
drink.
with the orange drink and a fucking ham and cheese on bread. What do you mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm the woman who fell out the window, who's like, whatever happened to fun?
Why was I thinking the same thing?
Like, that
She's
was
like
real.
doing fucking coke and she's like, fuck you. And she walks away and I'm like,
what an exit though. Like, amazing.
I agree.
I mean, but if it happened in real life, I would
think in
definitely
life-
like not.
I would probably be Trey's mom. It could be anybody.
Oh my god. Okay, we have literally kept you guys too long, but we want to know, and we have to actually, like, tomorrow actually put this in our stories, like, whose storyline as a whole was your favorite? Carrie, Samantha, Miranda, or Charlotte? And why?
And
Whose
why?
character arc? Because
Why?
Aaron wants to know.
I need to know. And if you haven't watched and you're like, oh, I don't know, go watch.
And then come
tell me.
back. Yep.
You can watch the whole 5 seasons in one night.
I mean, what else are you doing? And if you are doing something, listen, take the day off.
And watch what I said. I love y'all.
Love y'all so much. And just like that, another episode of Bravo We're Black is done.
Bye, y'all.